Hua Yong finally marked Sheng Shao You. The moment was heavy, filled with fire, filled with danger, and yet filled with the deepest sense of victory. For more than 15 years, Hua Yong had waited for this exact moment. He had watched Sheng grow up, he had loved him in silence, and he had manipulated the world around him so that everything would one day lead to this. Now, as his teeth sank into Sheng's gland and his mark burned its way into Sheng's body, it meant only one thing. Sheng was his. No escape, no denial, no return. The proud S-Class Alpha, the man who had always stood at the very top, had finally become a bottom. In this world, hierarchy is everything. An S-Class Alpha is already a rare existence, someone feared, respected, and admired. Sheng Shao You was the perfect image of strength and power. Someone who never had to kneel. Someone who always chose his partners. And someone who had only ever loved Omegas. For Sheng, the thought of being with another Alpha was unthinkable. But Hua Yong was no ordinary Alpha. He was an enigma, a higher order, a being that existed above the very hierarchy Sheng had always believed in. And once Hua Yong marked him, Sheng could no longer remain the untouchable top he had always been. In their relationship, Hua Yong would always be the one in control. Sheng would be the bottom, whether he wanted to admit it or not. This twist of fate was cruel. Sheng had lived his whole life choosing his lovers, deciding who to hold and who to let go. He had always been the one on top, the one who possessed others. Now, with Hua Yong's mark burning into him, he realized he had lost that choice. The top had fallen, and the bottom had been born. But this wasn't a simple act of love. It wasn't a gentle claiming. Hua Yong marked him to save his life. Sheng's jealous half-brother had ordered men to kidnap him. He was dragged from his office after being drugged and poisoned. He was seconds away from death when Hua Yong found him. The kidnappers were armed and ruthless, but Hua Yong killed them without hesitation. Blood splattered the ground, echoing the cold ruthlessness of the enigma who would do anything for Sheng. And then, in the car, as Sheng's breathing weakened, Hua Yong told him the truth. The only way to save you is to let me mark you. Once I do, you will live. Without it, you die. Sheng wanted to refuse. He wanted to shout at Hua Yong, curse him, and push him away. After all, this was the man who had lied to him, manipulated him, pretended to be something he wasn't. Hua Yong had disguised himself as an Omega, tricked Sheng into loving him, and even staged events that shattered Sheng's trust. But in that moment, none of it mattered. His life was slipping away. His body was shutting down. And Hua Yong was right. The mark was the only way to save him. The bite sank deep. It hurt more than anything Sheng had ever felt. His alpha gland burned, his blood screamed, and his pride shattered. He felt the rush of Hua Yong's power flooding into him, overtaking him, rewriting his very existence. This was no ordinary mark, it was an enigma's mark. Stronger, deeper, unbreakable. Once it was done, there would never be a way back. And then silence. His breathing steadied. His heart slowed. He lived. Sheng Shao You survived. But at what cost? The proud Alpha who had always been on top was now beneath Hua Yong. The mark meant more than survival. It meant submission. In the eyes of their world, it meant Sheng was now the bottom. And Hua Yong made sure he understood it. From this moment on, you are mine, Hua whispered, his voice low and cruel, yet trembling with long-suppressed desire. You cannot run. You cannot deny me. You will never again belong to anyone else. You are my bottom, Sheng Shao You. Sheng's chest tightened. He wanted to fight. He wanted to scream, but he couldn't. Because part of him knew it was true. He was alive because of Hua Yong. And whether he liked it or not, his life, his body, his future, all of it now belonged to Hua Yong. The irony was unbearable. Sheng had spent years mocking other alphas who dared to submit. He had always said that an alpha should never kneel, that they should always remain on top. But now his fate had reversed. The enigma had claimed him. And he was no longer the proud alpha who stood above all. He had become the bottom in his own story. But Hua Yong wasn't done. He had waited more than 15 years for this moment. For 15 years, he had endured the pain of watching Sheng chase omegas, of knowing Sheng would never look at him. For 15 years, he had played the role of the patient manipulator, weaving lies and illusions just to stay close to him. And now, with the mark, he had finally won. "You belong to me," Hua whispered again, his voice shaking with a mix of triumph and madness. "No Omega, no Alpha, no one else will ever touch you again. Only me. You are mine." Sheng's eyes filled with despair. He wanted to resist, but the mark was too strong. His body recognized Hua Yong as his top. His instincts had shifted. Every time Hua's scent brushed against him, his body would tremble with need. This was the curse of being marked by an enigma. There was no freedom left.
And so, the story of episode 12 takes its darkest, most dramatic turn.
Sheng Shao You, once the proud and untouchable S-Class Alpha, has fallen. He has become the bottom.
Not by choice, but by fate, by manipulation, and by the ruthless love of Hua Yong. The world will never see him the same again.
And deep inside, Sheng knows he will never see himself the same again either. Even after everything that happened, the truth is clear. Sheng Shao You, the proud S-Class Alpha who had always been the strongest, the one who stood above everyone else, is no longer the same. By allowing Hua Yong to mark him, he has crossed a line that can never be erased. An alpha becoming a bottom is something rare, almost unthinkable. But in that moment, it happened. It was Hua Yong who claimed him. Hua Yong who decided his place. Hua Yong who made him his.
Sheng thought he could keep control, thought he could resist.
But fate had already tied him to the enigma who had loved him for over 15 years.
No matter how much he wanted to deny it, no matter how much he hated Hua Yong's lies and manipulations, his body chose survival. His body chose to live.
And by doing so, he became Hua Yong's completely. Now everything has changed. Sheng is no longer just the cold and untouchable alpha. He is a marked mate, and he is bound forever. Hua Yong has turned his world upside down, forcing him into a role he never thought he would take. The top has become the bottom, and nothing will ever be the same again. This is only the beginning of the storm between them.
Their love, their hate, their pain, it's all tangled together. And now that Hua Yong finally has what he always wanted, the question is, will Sheng ever accept him? Or will he spend the rest of his life fighting against the bond that now ties him to the man he swore to reject?
The story of Hua Yong and Sheng Shao You is about to break every rule you thought you knew.